mercury is rising here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cool this morning, but the temperatures rising as they did during the test session on Thursday. Friday action underway. Usf2000 getting their first race in the books of the three triple header this weekend. But we're lining things up right now for Indy Pro 2000 and their first race of the triple header here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on this very challenging road course within the facility. My name is Rob Howden. Great to be here, joined by Alex Quinn, our newest winner in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. Alex, let's bring you in really quickly here. We're obviously going to go Indy Pro 2000 racing here in about 15 minutes' time. You come over here, you make your debut. Why not come and win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? It's been, a half an hour now. How are you feeling about the first win?
Yeah, I'm still really happy. I mean, it's such a good experience just to be here, but to stand on that podium, it was really cool. One
of the cool things we talked about in the press conference, this thing came together pretty late. This wasn't something you guys had planned throughout the year. You raced with Arden Motorsports, a new collaboration with Velocity Racing Development. But this thing came together late. You found yourself here in Indianapolis and going racing with Dan Mitchell.
Yeah, not much time to sort of take it all in. Just had to get on with it, get on track. We didn't have much running, but we got on with it quickly. And the team, obviously, I'm very thankful to them because I wouldn't be here without them. So, yeah, really good.
You've had some experience with this Tatis chassis. I think that probably played to you as well. You've been in this kind of a car. You know the dynamics. Different tires with the Coopers. You have had to dial yourself in with that. Was it an easy transition coming into the car for the first time?
I think it was easier than I thought because the team was so well prepared. You know, the information I was given was really good. So once I sat in the car, I felt comfortable straight away. So that was really helpful.
I know that when we're all said and done, we were in the press conference, you said it's one of the most enjoyable races you've ever had. It's a really wide straightaway, as you guys know, coming down into turn number one. We see 4 or 5 wide at the start. We had 4 wide with you, I think, P2 on the inside at one of the restarts. A lot of fun race with those guys up front.
Yeah, like you said, it was the most enjoyable race I've ever had. Really exciting. You didn't quite know where to be. It was kind of like luck, kind of. But, yeah, really enjoyable and can't wait for tomorrow.
And you'd never been here before. You never raced these drivers here in USF2000. So really every kind of lap, every dice, every battle into a corner, you were kind of learning the guys around you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And we'll take that on till tomorrow. Have a bit of a better idea, you know, where to place yourself on the track for when we're like 4 wide. So, yeah.
You were quick, obviously, yesterday in testing as well. You come in today, a cooler race, as I said, much cooler, but also, you know, the Indy car rubber eventually will go down. You'll deal with that later as well. How were the cool conditions this morning and then into the race today?
Yeah, it was different. Obviously, the times were quicker. The engines are running better when it's cooler, so it was slightly different. The balance changed a little bit, but we were kind of on the back foot, so we were still learning. We only had half an hour running on practice, so it's my first time on new tyre as well, so there was so much to take in, but I just had to get out there and do the best job I could.
So the international driver is kind of drawing first blood here right now. Of course, our Englishman here getting the win in USF2000. In today's race that will roll off here in a couple of minutes, it'll be Jonathan Brown starting on the pole. He was down outside the top 5 late into the Indy Pro 2000 qualifying session, but knew he had a theoretical fast lap, was finally able to put together what he called a very tidy lap. He didn't think it was going to be good enough for pole, maybe top 5, but at the end able to pip Louis Foster from Exclusive Autosport to grab that pole position. So the Turn 3 Motorsport driver, his first career pole, starting up front like that, you've obviously got an opportunity now to start closer to the front. There was some chaos in USF2000. You've had a race right now. How important do you think pole will be for Jonathan Brown today?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be important for him, obviously, to be at the front from the get-go. But it's not a bad thing to start 2nd and 3rd here, or even 5th.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the slipstream's so big, or the draft. It's just, you know, it's going to be an exciting race for them. I'll certainly be watching it. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your last couple laps, because did you know the battle was happening behind you? Jagger Jones and Billy Fraser were going at it for second. They probably could have maybe caught you at one point. You said how big the draft was, but the minute they started fighting, you were long gone.
Absolutely, yeah. The cautions were the biggest part of the race almost. Like, luckily, I managed to make the moves under the restart, but then also got a good restart. So once I got clear, it was all good.
Any chance you think you can make the car better? Obviously, the track's going to change. That's one thing you know from all the different racing you've done in Europe, that when you have higher horsepower cars like the Indy car out here laying their rubber down, that Firestone rubber, it's going to change the facility. It's going to keep changing. Rain, of course, potentially for tomorrow as well. But let's talk about if we don't get rain, what are you expecting with the car? Can you make it faster in the dry?
I think for now I'm very happy with the car.
Okay.
You know, we're in race conditions now, so you're in dirty air. I was happy with it. I think we're going to leave it the same. I'm going to work on some things that I've done and just, you know, do the best I can in the race situation, because that's where the results are going to come from.
Now, I hate to play the stereotype because a lot of people live in Florida or whatever, may not, or California, don't get a chance to race in the rain. You live in England. You've done racing in England. Do you have significant rain experience? Is it something that you would consider yourself decently proficient at?
Absolutely. I've driven a lot in the rain, but then saying that, you know, you come to a new track, the rubber's different here.
Yeah.
That's big for the rain, so it will be a new experience. Probably have to get used to it pretty quickly if it does rain, but I'll be ready for it.
Indy Pro 2000 getting ready to go, as we said, and it'll be a big start for Jonathan Brown. But again, Louis Foster, who has had a really great start to the season, 4 straight top 5s, 3 podiums, gets himself into a position right now to potentially be able to grab that first win. And in talking to Louis earlier today, we did an interview for Road to Indy TV, talking about the fact that one of the issues he's had really was maximizing the Cooper tires in that qualifying run. He's had great pace, they've had great race pace, but they kind of just had a bit of trouble a little bit with qualifying strategy, and then he absolutely fully maximizing the Cooper tires. That's one thing I asked you, Alex, very early on, is how were you feeling on the Coopers in qualifying? Did you feel you were able to get the most out of them?
Yeah, it was my first time on new tires, and the Cooper tires, they come in so quickly. Like, you literally do an outlap and they're in. Like, so you just got to get on with it really quickly. We done 2 new sets in quali, and it worked really well. But it was something to learn from, definitely, for the future.
So knowing you go 2 sets, were you kind of leaning towards the fact we're probably going to have the rain on Saturday? Because I think it's like 60 to 80% chance of rain right now. Is that kind of maybe a role for you guys, knowing you'll be on the wet tires?
Yeah, kind of. But also, you know, there's 3 lap times in quali that count,
yep.
You know, for race 1, race 2 and race 3. So we had to get the bankers in on the first set, which we did. I think we were P1 after the first set, and then went back out again after the red flag. And you know, Jagger got me, but we went on the other set and again made some improvements. So that's the reason behind it. That
was kind of the crucial thing. Only 1 qualifying session here this weekend, and you're taking essentially your 2 fast times. Fastest lap set the grid for race number 1. The second fastest lap set the grid for race 2 and 3. Now you could fix that if you get a little quicker in race 1 than your qualifying lap. You're able to use your race 1 lap. You can use your race 2 lap for race number 3 as well. But as Alex said, able to get those lap times down. The banker laps on that first set of tires, I think, were key. We hear drivers talk about that. You got to go out, be smart in the first set of tires. You got to give yourself room on the racetrack so you're not getting caught up by anybody.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in England, we would, you know, want to get the banker lap in case it rains, but here it's different. You know, you just want to get the banker lap in. You never know what could happen. Traffic could hold you up or anything. So, yeah, that was important.
What do you think about racecraft? Where are the primary opportunities to pass? I know it, but for our viewers here right now, where are the biggest places to make the overtakes?
Obviously, turn 1, down that long straight. The slipstream was huge. It was difficult. You had to get a really good exit out of the last corner, and then likewise you go around T4, and then you've got the long back straight. So 2 good opportunities there. You'll see lots of overtaking done. Yeah,
when we get down into turn number 7, that's when the over-unders happen. If you find yourself on an over or an under, you get yourself caught out where you're not in the rhythm coming through 7, 8, 9, and 10. Crucial to get out of 10 in a very high speed. You got to get that forward bike coming out of the corner to get around the outside of the racetrack. There has been talk a little bit about what they've done to the track, texturizing the surface for the oval a little bit. That's kind of beating on the tires, so we'll see in a longer Indy Pro 2000 race if we have any tires start going away. Do we have the tire degradation, or will drivers struggle tomorrow if we indeed stay dry throughout Saturday? As I'd said before, though, rain in the forecast, a very high percentage chance we may see the Cooper rain tires come out tomorrow. If so, drivers like Alex, who have had an opportunity to spend some time in their career running in the wet conditions, may have an opportunity to get themselves back to the front again. Drivers rolling out here behind us here right now. Indy Pro 2000 drivers heading out to the grid area. We will come back in a little bit with driver introductions. We've got the command as well. This event brought to you by the IndyCar Ministry today. And again, big thank you to Alex for joining us here right now. But as we wrap things up, we talked about how big this racetrack is, how technical it is in terms of overtakes. We had a chance to get around on the track walk with a bunch of the drivers to have a look at the road course here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
What's up, guys? It's Lindsay Brewer here at IMS. I'm super excited. I've driven this track once in an F4, so I know a little bit about it, but it's definitely going to be a lot more fun in the Indy Pro 2000 car.
I'm Trey Burke, drive the number 63 Usf2000, Joe Dueling Autosports Curb Agajanian, here with Sage Karam.
What's up?
Little known IndyCar driver. He's been here a time or two.
Quite easily rock up a tire here, so you gotta watch for that.
I did that.
It's the best passing zone on the track, obviously, because of the long straight. So getting out of the last section for this straightaway is important.
Hey guys, I'm here on the track walk at IMS. It was a great track for me last year. Had 2 wins and a podium, so really looking forward to kind of getting the season back running. It's a beautiful track, beautiful facility, so really looking forward to getting driving.
And make sure to download Road to Indy TV app. Check out all the fun.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduro Maxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
It's your Uncle Cooper. If you and your truck are constantly tackling the regular duties of the day, go with a tire that can handle them all. Oh, man. I stepped in it. Go with the Coopers.
Things about the Road to Indies, of course, the champions getting an opportunity to get the scholarship to move on to the next level. Standing by here with Kiko Porto, last year's Cooper Tires USF2000 champion, gets a scholarship with D-Force Racing. Will run this year at Indy Pro 2000. First, let's ask you about the scholarship. Obviously, to win the championship last year was so big. How did it change your off-season?
For sure, the Road to Indy gave me an opportunity to continue this job. So we did very well last year, and it was a pleasure and opportunity to stay here in the Road to Indy program. I'm super happy. Right now in Indy Pro, what a beast. This car is awesome, and I'm super happy to be here in St. Pete and continue this program.
Again, you're trying to continue the career, right, on the road to Indy as you normally would. Let's talk about this race car. Everybody always asks, what's the difference between the USF2000 car and the Indy Pro? How would you describe how much more race car this is?
USF, you need to use more the braking and really stop more the car. This one, you can use more the downforce grip. You can like roll them a lot of speed on the corners. Like turn 8 and 9 here, the smaller corners, is just awesome how much you can use the speed during the corner. So like this car is awesome. The braking is better too, but all the aero grip helped the car a lot, and it's like awesome. I want a lot to go to race to see what I feel.
We've obviously seen a lot of the USF2000 champions in the past come in and be really strong as a rookie. Kyle Kirkwood, Christian Rasmussen. What do you feel your chances are this year to go after the title here in Indy Pro?
Feels good. Me and the team is working so hard to this, more than last year to be honest. But it's still the start of the season. I prefer to go step by step, race per race. I don't want to try to see the future. So let's go for the first race and then scoring some points during all the season.
Last but not least, of course, one of the constants for you is D-Force Racing, right? You were with them last year, you're with them again this year. How important is it for you to stay with this family team?
Like my relationship is so good here. I'm start my career in open wheels car with D4, so I learned a lot. The guys know a lot from me, and we have a really good relationship, and this helps, especially in this situation. Like we have just one practice and then qualifying. So this relationship about me and the team is so important, and also have a good teammates. Nolan's an awesome guy, so this relationship is like very important during all the season.
Obviously a big year last year for Kiko Porto, winning the championship. He stays with D-Force Racing here for 2022. If you want to put your money on one driver here this year, it might be Kiko. That fuels the sport at this level, Alan. It's the driver's passion, but the teams absolutely love it. They love working with these young drivers. Second win of his career here in USF2000, and a victory for Pabst Racing. Onto the front straightaway, double checkers for Euban Sundaramurthy.
Congratulations going out to Kiko Porto. And there he is, race fans, getting out of that D-Force racing machine.
Braden Eaves, the leader. Look at Rasmussen trying around the outside of turn number 4. Out of the final corner. Eaves threw it at him. He'll try to go side by side the line. Not enough. Christian Rasmussen with the race win. '21 here at Indy Pro 2000. Across the line, Artem Petrov, hand in the air. Victorious here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Side by side across the line comes Simpson in gold. The winner in race 3 for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, Christian Rasmussen. Another win for Jay Howard Driver Development. Reese Gold back on the podium again in second. Braden Eaves in third. Anam Ahmed, his best finish of the...
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduro Maxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
The track, isn't it?
It's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Right? Here we are on a
That's it.
Friday afternoon. Who's this youngster you got with you here?
Billy Fraser joining me right now from Exclusive Auto Sports, young driver on the podium in USF2000, race earlier today. Going to go for his first race win tomorrow. We got 2 races for that.
I love it, man. Welcome to town. How exciting is this for you?
It's super exciting. You know, every time you're racing at Indy, you remember it, and to finish on the podium for the first time at Indy, I'm going to remember this day forever.
That's pretty cool. How old are you and where are you from?
I'm 19 years old and I'm from Pukekohe, Auckland in New Zealand. So long trip to Indy.
I believe it. So did you grow up with this dream in mind of racing at this racetrack or getting in this series? What's been your dream?
I mean, I love racing. You know, I've done it from such a young age, and IndyCar, it's been my dream probably since about the age of 10, and to be on the road to Indy now, with the dream getting closer and closer, it's super exciting.
We love it. We love seeing the next generation joining us at the Speedway. It's kind of fun to get to know these youngsters, Rob. We're getting old watching these young guys get after.
Well, Dave, here's the thing. You guys call, of course, Indy Lights and the IndyCar. Well, the guys you're talking about are the guys that we had in USF2000 and Indy Pro just a couple of years ago, right?
Yep, it is.
Indeed.
It's a great stepping stone. We wish you all the best of luck, and we'll turn the mic over to you guys. And about time to go racing, so let's have some fun.
Dave Calabro, folks, the voice of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And again, we are getting set to go as we have drivers 16 strong getting ready to roll in Indy Pro 2000. Drivers have not yet rolled, I believe, out onto the racetrack. We'll get them out here momentarily. When we do, we'll get an opportunity to go through the grid. And again, 16 drivers set to go here for Indy Pro 2000. This is the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Indianapolis supporting the IndyCar Ministry. And again, we'll have some of our dignitaries with us here throughout the day. Joining us, of course, so we'll have Chaplain Jason Holt as well to give us the command to fire the engines. That'll happen in a few minutes from now. Waiting to get the cars out here onto the racetrack before we get underway. We'll leverage Billy Fraser beside me here today as my driver analyst. Billy, of course, already has significant track time on the surface here today with practice and open testing yesterday, qualifying this morning, and, of course, race number 1 of the triple header. Again, Indy Pro 2000, the second rung of this road to Indy.
Oh, awesome. Just got my PA, Alicia. She's taking some photos.
That's
so it's awesome. Yeah.
Billy, this racetrack, we'll come back to you briefly because we're waiting, of course, for the cars to come out before we go through. But let's talk about this racetrack a little bit. You mentioned earlier when we were chatting with Dave and the guys here that it's obviously a different track for IndyCar than it is for you guys. At the lower horsepower, the draft here is unbelievable down both of these long straightaways.
Oh, definitely. I think there was not one time as a T1 after a restart that we weren't 3 or 4 wide. It was pretty exciting, and I'm sure we're going to see the same in Indy Pro just a few minutes away.
Yeah, exactly that. Indy Pro, for those of you who don't know, obviously watching the USF2000 cars, the same tub, the same chassis as USF2000, a Tatis chassis, but we just hang more of everything on it, as I say, more horsepower, more downforce, more tire for more grip, more braking capabilities, just more of everything, and that's probably going to give them about 4 or 5 seconds worth of lap time. Let's have a look at the grid right now, as I believe drivers just starting to roll up here right now. We can give a look at the 16 drivers who are set to go, as we are really just about a minute or 2 away from getting things rolling with the call to fire engines. We'll start at the tail of the field, starting in the 16th position. In the number 83, a lot of young drivers in the field. This one, not so much. A veteran driver, 58 years of age, Charles Finelli, in the number 83, starting in 16th. Inside of that row, a young lady from Colorado making her first race in the road to Indy, Lindsay Brewer, in the number 93 Mastermind machine for Exclusive Autosport. Very quick. She was able to get to within a second of the pole time. Impressive for her in her debut here in Indy Pro 2000. Lindsay Brewer, the rookie, starting in the number 93 in 15th. We'll go to row number 7 on the outside. It'll be Wyatt Prokachik in the number 5 for the Jay Howard Driver Development Team. Keep an eye, though, on the driver starting 13th. Didn't find the pace he wanted in qualifying. Rookie Josh Green, already a winner this year in Indy Pro 2000, scored a victory at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Pittsburgh. Green starting back in 13th in the number 3. Definitely a car to watch. Up into row number 6 on the outside from Mexico, Salvador de Alba in the number 6 for Jay Howard Driver Development. De Alba, a rookie, starting 12th alongside Jordan Missig, another rookie driver out of Illinois for Pabst Racing in the number 19. We'll go down to the top 5. Braden Eaves will start on the outside of row number 5, a former USF2000 champion. Had a bad crash here back in 2020, but back on the racetrack the next year and back at it here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Eaves racing for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 4. He will start 10th. Inside of that row from the UK, but born and running the flag of Pakistan, Anam Ahmed for Juncos Racing in the number 47 will start in the 9th position. Moving now to row number 4 on the outside, Colin Kaminsky out of Homer Glen, Illinois, in the number 27 for Pabst Racing. He believes he can work his way to the lead here, citing the fact that Artem Petrov won for Exclusive Autosport last year, starting 9th. Kaminsky starting in 8th and then 27th. He'll start alongside the reigning USF2000 champion from Brazil, Kiko Porto, in the number 1 Road to Indy Scholarship Colors. Porto in that number 1 for D-Force Racing, starting in 7th. Moving now to row number 3, coming off a victory at Barber Motorsports Park. Reese Gold out of Miami, Florida for Juncos Hollinger Racing in the number 55. He'll be in the 6th position outside of row number 3, alongside the driver who scored 2 wins last year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course in USF 2000. Out of Delafield, Wisconsin, the rookie Yuvan Sundaramurthy for Pabst Racing in the number 18. We'll go now up into row number 2. On the outside, Jack William Miller out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Miller in the number 40, son of former Indy 500 driver Jack Miller. Miller now with a new program. Miller Vinatieri Motorsports has teamed up with a technical alliance with Exclusive Autosports. So Miller in the data room with the guys from Exclusive, and that has paid off. He goes up to P4, a 121.783 in qualifying. Jack William Miller starting on the outside of row number 2. Inside of that row will be Nolan Siegel, your current point leader here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Siegel with a couple of wins on the season for D-Force Racing. Siegel out of Palo Alto, California in the number 8, starting in the 3rd position. 16 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, and driver off pole right now comes in sitting 2nd place in points for Exclusive Autosport, the rookie Louis Foster in the number 90 from the UK. 4 straight top 5 finishes with 3 podiums. Louis Foster will be one to watch in the Exclusive Autosport Copart number 90 machine. A 121.694 puts him outside of the front row. But it was a final lap flyer for the Irishman Jonathan Brown, able to put the lap together in the Turn 3 Motorsports number 2 machine. He goes to his first career pole position. Brown, 121.677. He will start on the pole alongside Louis Foster, as I said. Siegel and Miller on row number 2. Sundaramurthy and Gold on row 3. Porto and Kaminsky on row 4. Ahmed and Eaves row 5. Missig and De Alba on row 6. Green and Brkachik row 7. And Brewer and Finelli on row number 8. Almost set to go here with our Indy Pro 2000 race. And again, as we saw in USF 2000, these drivers anxious to get at it. Turn number 1, always exciting as these guys get super aggressive, working their way down into that turn 1 position. It's a very, very tough corner, very wide open corner, but it gets pretty narrow on the exit. Makes things very, very exciting. We're almost getting set to go here, folks, again. As we get ready to roll, to fire things up, I had mentioned before that today's event is brought to you by the IndyCar Ministry. We're thrilled to have IndyCar Ministry with us here throughout the month of May and throughout everything that we do with this Road to Indy program. IndyCar Ministry doing such a great job for us. And we're thrilled as well to bring in our command and the man that will give us the call to fire from the IndyCar Ministry, Chaplain Jason Holt.
On behalf of IndyCar Ministry and all of our supporters, drivers, start your engines.
And with that, engines firing up on pit lane. We're about set to go, what should be a fantastic battle. You know what? And this is where we'll now come to Billy. Billy Fraser, for me, anytime I've raced, this is where my nerves are at the absolute highest, right? When I'm sitting there, I'm hot, I got no wind going through the car. What are your thoughts once you fired the engine?
Oh, it gets exciting. This is the time that you're going racing. It's with that helmet on, you've got a lot of time to gather your thoughts. You're playing out scenarios, which way you're going to go. But at the end of the day, you don't know until that green flag drops. So, yeah, there'll definitely be some nervous people out there. But you know, it's Indy Pro 2000. They've shown so far that they've had some great racing, so I'm sure we're going to have an awesome race.
You know what's interesting, too, is that this particular racetrack, Turn 1's a lot different than I think others. There are some tracks you go to, you know how Turn 1's going to play out, whether it may be a Mid-Ohio. Barber's pretty much the same. It gets a little hectic sometimes. This is one, though, as you said, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. You can go through all the strategies, all the scenarios in your head, but you really have to kind of fly by wire as it happens when you get down there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the key word going into Turn 1 is opportunity, and you never know which way it's going to play out. You know, in my case, I went to the outside. It was perfect until about 3/4 of the way through the corner, and there was, you know, guys going down the inside that I knew that I had to give way to. So that's the kind of things that these drivers will be thinking about now. They would have had the experience of watching the USF2000 race, so potentially gathered a few thoughts on that. And yeah, I think the other thing to talk about is the split in strategy coming to tyres. You know, there'll be some people out there on new tyres, some people running their qualifying tyres. So yeah, some people have more confidence than others going into Turn 1.
One thing, the key thing in terms of tires, they only get a certain amount of tires to run through the 3 races, 4 sets in total for qualifying and actually warm-up or practice qualifying in the 3 races. Is the potential for rain tomorrow? Do you roll the dice and use your tires today? What if it doesn't rain tomorrow and we end up getting out there and you've got no rubber whatsoever? That's kind of the key. We could be on the Cooper wets tomorrow. We'll see how it plays out. But Billy making a great point in terms of some drivers could potentially put stickers on. They're going to be a little better, especially with this longer race. 25 laps in total for the drivers here in the Indy Pro 2000 category, the first of 3 races that we'll see here this weekend as part of the Indy GP weekend. And I can tell you this, the drivers all thrilled to be here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Billy, do you remember your first time here? Pretty crazy?
Oh, definitely. I remember my first lap here, to be honest. It's such a fantastic track, and I'm excited to get this one underway.
Field lining up now 2 by 2 behind the Road to Indy pace car, Jonathan Brown, his first pole position here in Road to Indy competition. He'll get set to go rolling here as they come out of the final couple of corners that lead through the last right-hander up onto the straightaway. He'll be the driver to punch off. Everyone else having to hold speed for Brown in that Turn 3 motorsports machine. You can be sure that Louis Foster is going to want to punch off from the outside, because outside of Turn 1, not the best place to start. You normally have to hold back a little bit. You don't want to get that jump, and it means you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. Field set, looking good. Aaron Likens ready to pull the flag, and we're racing. Green, 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 and a good start for Foster as he slots right in behind Brown. Right against the wall. Jonathan Brown keeping it to the bottom. Foster going to the outside. Miller's way out there as well, Alice, as is Kiko Porto. Big on the brakes. Thinking about it. Brown gets through cleanly, as does Foster. But Foster going around the outside of Brown. Foster's going to come out of turn number 1. No, he slides Foster sideways. Foster around, and a driver almost over in the back of the field as Foster tried to go around the outside of turn number 1. And I want to say potential contact right front to left rear as Brown looked to have the position handled coming out of the corner. We'll go full course yellow here for sure. One car potentially upside down over in turn number 2 and 3 coming out of that corner. So again, waiting for full course yellows coming from Aaron Likens at start finish. The field will continue to work their way around, but yeah, he's pulling the yellow flag out. So what was a tremendous move by Louis Foster, able to essentially do the over-under on Jonathan Brown. Not quite sure what happened in terms of coming out of that corner. All of a sudden, Foster looked like he had the position, and whether or not dropped a wheel or had some help over there, there was. That's actually that's Jack William Miller. So that's both of the exclusive Autosport cars. Foster with exclusive Autosport, Jack William Miller in the Miller Vinatieri Motorsports with exclusive Autosports entry, the Technical Alliance that they have this year. Full course yellow, and I'll tell you, exclusive Autosport was looking to potentially get 2 drivers on the podium. Instead, 2 drivers out of this race. Billy, that's not what you ever want to see in one of these events. You obviously want to try to get through the opening corner cleanly, but it is the easiest way to have chaos because you're so compacted together.
Yeah, exactly, and I think we saw on that one, Jonathan, he had a really strong start, a really good reaction, and yeah, just too late on the brakes at turn 1. Louis had the advantage going into turn 2, you know, that crossover move, and yeah, whether they just made contact on the exit of 2, we'll hopefully get a replay. And yeah,
All right. We are going to have a chance to look at a replay here momentarily when it gets queued up, so we'll, of course, bide our time here. Patience was one of the things we talked about at the start of the USF2000 race. Here it is, side by side. You'll watch the drivers working their way through here now, all the way around the outside, and pretty good exit speed here for Foster. Oh, that's a little bit of a mistake. You could see the exit oversteer for Jonathan Brown. Nowhere to go, and indeed, I think that Jack William Miller's not quite sure where to go, and he drives over the back of his teammate. For Jack William Miller, he was going left, he was going right, and you can see that car just dig in there, and he's literally up on top. So there's the two exclusive Autosport cars in a pile. There will be late night at Exclusive Autosport tonight in the paddock as they've got work to do. But Billy, let's walk through that one there. It looked to me like Foster's on the outside and coming out of the corner as Brown's trying to roll back on the throttle. Car kind of steps away. You have a look at the replay here, Billy, and give me a thought of what you think here.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, 100%. It just looked like Jonathan, you know, he lost the rear on the exit of the corner and just wasn't ready to give up that position.
And he corrected.
Exactly,
yeah.
And, you know, correcting, you know, wanting to turn left, but the car's going right and just clips that left rear. And yeah, really unlucky for Jack there. Louis was out of control after, you know, spinning out and just, yeah, wow, digging in quite hard. Lucky not to roll over there.
Yeah, well, so there's, you can see the correction there by Jonathan Brown. Back on throttle, made the correction. Once it bit, it shot him back across the track. His right front then getting in front of the left rear of Foster. Foster up. Foster probably would have been okay, but here comes Miller with nowhere to go. And I'm going to say this right now. We have brand new tubs with the Halo device. And look at where the gearbox attenuator ends. That could easily have landed right on top of Louis Foster's head. Instead, with the Halo, he is protected from what could have been impact with the gearbox and the rear attenuator of the number 40 of Jack William Miller. But I'll tell you, if you're in the Exclusive Autosport camp right now, you are not a happy man.
No, and I'm not a happy man, to be honest. You know, two of my teammates taken out on the first lap, and honestly, neither of their faults. Looking at that, it's super tough. So
agreed.
Hopefully, you know, I know the team will do a great job to get them back on track tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully, you know, Lindsay can do a great job as the last exclusive Autosport car out there.
Indeed, Lindsey Brewer, the final exclusive Autosport car out there, and that Mastermind number 93 machine, her debut weekend here in the Road to Indy and Indy Pro 2000. But yeah, tough one there. Again, as we kind of dissected things, Jonathan Brown just a little, not really even a miscue. He's just getting on the throttle. He had to correct with the throttle, the rear end kind of stepping out. Not much you could do. Car shoots back a bit to the right side. He makes contact. Foster probably could have continued, and really Jack William Miller with nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think Louis had that move done. He would have been thinking that, and it's just tough. It's the first lap. It's one of those corners. It's always going to happen when you have a right then a left.
That's it.
Yeah, people get crimped and accidents happen.
So let's see how things reset now for the top 10. Jonathan Brown, the leader. Colin Kaminsky moves his way up into the second position. Braden Eaves goes to third. Nolan Siegel in fourth. Salvador de Alba fifth. Anam Ahmed up into sixth. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in seventh. Kiko Porto eighth. Jonathan Green ninth. And Jordan Missig in 10th. Now, Billy, let's talk a little bit about what's the mindset now, you know, for these guys here, especially a guy like Colin Kaminsky. You think about it, right? He started down in 8th. He literally thought he could win this race because if something happened, he finds himself P2 now.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to my keyword, opportunity. You've got the 5th row coming up into the top 3 spots. Quite similar to my race. Yeah, I wonder what they're thinking right now, trying to keep a level head. They've already made such great progress, and yeah, we'll see what plays out on the restart. You know, at the end of the day, we're going out to do it exactly the same thing again, just single file.
I want to stay with the mindset thing because here's an interesting stat here. Obviously, Colin Kaminsky started 8th. He goes up 6 spots into 2nd. 2 drivers moving up 7 spots. Braden Eaves, we know he knows how to win races. He goes to P3. And Salvador de Alba, his teammate at J. Howard Driver Development, from 12th up into 7th. If you're Kaminsky, if you're Eaves, are you on the offensive mode? Is it all about, hey, I want to go for the win, or I've already improved my position enough?
I think it is quite early in the year to be thinking about championship,
yeah, okay.
And you know these guys at the end of the day, they're race car drivers. It's lap 1 of 25, so they can play that as they like, whether they want to, you know, see where the tires come out. But it's one of those tracks here where if you're not attacking, you're defending. So it's all about momentum here. If that top 3 can break away, they'll be happy and they potentially might race later. But like we saw in the USF2000 race, cautions bring cautions. And yeah, this potentially, this is a race that could go the whole 25 laps.
Indeed it could. Billy Fraser from Exclusive Autosport joining us here, coming off a podium finish in the first of 3 USF2000 races here this weekend. And tough for Billy, of course, to watch 2 of his teammates involved in the open lap incident here. But I'll add this to your comment. You think about both Colin Kaminsky and Braden Eaves. Colin Kaminsky's been on the pole before, did so at the Oval for the Freedom 90. He's never won a race in the Road to Indy. This kid is going to want to win bad. We know Jonathan Brown will as well, but Kaminsky came up through USF2000, his 3rd year in Indy Pro. He is going to want to win. There's no way he's holding back. And I don't care about Braden Eaves. Anytime he's in a car, he was your teammate last year. You know he's going for a race win anytime. So this is not going to be Braden Eaves saying, hey, I started back deeper in the field in 10th. I'm 3rd. I'll take these points. No way.
No way. You've got 2 rookies, leading a USF 2000 champion. It's two guys that haven't had a race win before, and you've got a guy that wants to win this championship to move to Indy Lights. It's yeah, there's the potential there, so hopefully they can get through turn 1 cleanly this time.
That's it. The point leader right now is Nolan Siegel. He is ahead by 5 points from Louis Foster, so that's going to be big championship implications there, as it's going to give Siegel a chance to extend that lead. Braden Eaves comes in here P3, so he would like that race win to move himself closer to Siegel. Pace car will head to pit lane. This time by, we're being told lights are out, so we will see indeed the 1 to go. Pace car maybe not coming in, but we will get the 1 to go from our Flagstaff here as they come across the yard of bricks. And again, Jonathan Brown able to get through the first start of the race. We'll see how he does at the restart. That is not the view that Michael Duncalf from Exclusive Autosport, the team owner, wanted to see at the start of this race. He knew he had a couple of horses that had an opportunity to go for podiums and race wins. I will tell you this, both those drivers are going to come back with a vengeance in both races tomorrow. They know they have to get it done. Jonathan Brown, though, with the lead, and we'll take him to the green flag when they come back around. Colin Kaminsky up into 2nd, Braden Eaves 3rd, Nolan Siegel 4th, Salvador Alba in 5th, Anam Ahmed 6th, Yuvan Sundaramurthy 7th, Kiko Porto 8th, Josh Green, who started all the way down in 13th, taking advantage of as well. He'll work his way up in the 9th spot. Watch for him to attack early. And Jordan Missig in 10th, Wyatt Prokachik 11th, Lindsey Brewer in 12th, Charles Finelli 13th, and Reese Gold, not sure what happened to Reese in that incident. He fell all the way down, started 6th, so I don't know whether or not he made a trip to pit lane or just got caught up. He may have been the driver that had to go off into the gravel that I think Miller was thinking about trying to follow out.
Exactly. I think Reese in this situation is the lucky one, to be honest. He made the right call to go to the outside, and he's got plenty of laps now to make up. He's fast.
He's dead last, but he didn't get in an instant.
Yeah, exactly. Still on the lead lap.
And you can see that with Miller. We watched that replay many times. He just really wasn't sure where to go. He was thinking inside, thinking outside. As that driver's kind of rolling, you're not sure if they're going to roll back or not, or wherever Louis was going. And just didn't make the right decision, really. And I think maybe the lack of decision of what happened. He was thinking right, left. Had he just went to the gravel, he probably would have continued, but we may not have had a full course yellow either. So all in all, an interesting start for Indy Pro 2000 to cap off the Road to Indy component of the day here on Friday at the Indy GP weekend. Beautiful sight there with the pagoda. Everybody obviously loves rolling in here in the morning, getting through the tunnels and coming out and seeing this majestic facility. And it's always fantastic to be here. It is the month of May, and of course, as we all know, once things wrap up here at the GP, all eyes will focus on the Indianapolis 500. Every one of the drivers you're seeing on the grid here on the racetrack, including the guy beside me here in the driver analyst chair, Billy Fraser, all hope to be in that race one day. We've seen so many drivers come from the Road to Indy and get into the Indianapolis 500. Which of those on the racetrack here in Indy Pro will find that as part of their future? Working their way through these final couple of corners again as we get set to go racing. It'll be Brown leading the way, Kaminsky in 2nd, Eaves 3rd. You know they're going to stack them and pack them down on the wall coming here because you cannot open the bottom part of the racetrack. And as we get set to go, 21 laps still to go, but we need to be watching that time limit here as well. Green flag flying, and we are back underway in Indy Pro 2000. Great start for Jonathan Brown. Here comes Braden Eaves on the attack on the outside of Kaminsky. They'll work their way to turn 1. Eaves is going to try to go deep on the brakes. Brown moves up a little bit. Down comes the bottom. And the job is done. Eaves into the 2nd spot. They'll work their way through more contact. One driver around, 2 to the grass. One driver looping around there deep in the pack. Who'd you think that was?
Josh Green.
Might have been Josh Green. He has not had any luck. That would be the other Turn 3 Motorsport car. We'll see if Green's able to get that car refired. Drivers heading to the grass, I would believe, are Prokachik and Brewer had nowhere to go. They went down to the grass to get through. And there's Josh Green there on the number 3. And indeed, that may be another full course yellow unless he can get that car refired. He's right essentially at the apex, the outside, actually not the apex, but the outside of turn number 1. And we'll see how things play out. Drivers pushing hard to try to work forward until that yellow flag comes out. You're racing. They'll come through turn number 10 and 11. Back down. Big, deep move to the bottom. Coming through turn 12 here as well, through 13 and 14. Not seeing any yellow, so maybe he got himself refired down there in turn number 1 and 2. Indeed. Thank you so much. Update there. Josh Green able to refire, but man, all the way down the order. He'll be in 14th. Here come your leaders. There's your gap between first and second. Colin Kaminsky able to get back by. Good fight for Kaminsky, getting back by Braden Eaves, but this has allowed Jonathan Brown to stretch out to a bit of an advantage. There's back down to the bottom. Braden Eaves side by side with Kaminsky, and Eaves is going to get by. Good move to the inside. Kaminsky will get back behind the gearbox, move Nolan Siegel there as well into 4th. Right behind him as well, Salvador de Alba, Anam Ahmed. Yeah, Billy, you get the first lap in the books. You find yourself somewhere in a group right now. Can you settle down at all, or are you really the heart rate up at this point?
Oh, the heart rate's definitely up. You're thinking about exits and you're thinking about braking zones, and I think honestly we're going to see this for the rest of the race. Already, there's been 2 or 3 changes for second place. Jonathan, he's got a little bit of a gap at the moment, but this battle pack of 4 right behind him for second place. They have to be careful. They can't let Jonathan get too far ahead, but at the same time they want track position.
Being told that one driver needs to come into pit lane. They're saying potentially Jonathan Brown, the leader, is going to have to come to pit lane. I'm thinking potentially incident responsibility for the contact with Louis Foster. So they're potentially, well, not potentially, being told from race control that Jonathan Brown being given a drive-through penalty, and he gets the black flag at start-finish. How gutting is that to have the lead? But again, we saw the contact. We saw many views of it. It was definitely an issue for Jonathan Brown. The contact happening, a drive-through penalty for the leader. Billy, you get the radio call of what's happening. I got to think maybe dropping some swear words in there.
No doubt, but this race isn't over. He has the lead. Hopefully he can come back out on the lead lap and hope for a caution. But it's good that people are getting that there is he's got the drive-through for an incident he caused.
The penalty, right?
Exactly.
You'll want to see penalties get laid down. There was no doubt about it that you and I saw that the contact was his fault, lost the control, got into Louis. It's a drive-through penalty, incident responsibility, and again, I think I'll let you go from here, but as a driver, you just want to see, whatever happens, you want to see consistency in race calls.
Yeah, exactly, and the key now for V, he's still on the lead lap. He's got this drive-through. How can he come back? It's great that they've given this penalty to him early in the race. Not a post-race penalty, so
right.
There is an opportunity to come back, and yeah, I think this battle pack for seconds just turned to the battle pack for the lead.
Yeah, I just moved Braden Eaves and the J. Howard driver development number 4 to the lead. Kaminsky will go to 2nd, Siegel to 3rd, De Alba to 4th, and Anam Ahmed now up to 5th, and you can see it. I can only imagine how painful this crawl would be at pit lane speed for Jonathan Brown. Started on pole. But you have to believe that with the contact that happened, that he thought maybe that could be something that could come down.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's tough for me to watch that when you get 2 exclusive Autosport cars out on the first lap after such promising positions. But Braden Eaves, he has to be proud of his first lap. I think he's made about 8 spots to the lead.
Looks like some trouble as well for Wyatt Prokachik. He's into pit lane 2 here. The J. Howard driver development car. Prokachik into pit lane. Josh Green out and back onto the track, so he'll probably gain another spot here as well. But Eaves is now your leader. We know that the drive-through penalty on the pit speed limiter for Jonathan Brown will eventually allow him to get back out here. Here comes Josh Green across the line, so he goes to 14th. So the 2 teams who looked so good, who now have had horrible races. Exclusive Autosport with Louis Foster and Jack William Miller, 15th and 16th. Turn 3 Motorsport had the pole sitter in Brown and a good jump forward for Green. They're both now 12th and 14th. So both Turn 3 and Exclusive Autosport, a day to forget.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, I'm glad that we have a day tomorrow to hopefully, redemption, get some points back. But yeah, Braden, he's doing a good job actually. Just broke a little bit of a gap to Colin, so we'll see him try to potentially break this draft going down the main straight. And yeah, if he can check out a little bit, potentially he can control the race from there.
And we'll talk more about it, but obviously Exclusive Autosport having a rough day. Thankfully, the guy joining me in the booth right now is my driver analyst, Billy Fraser, just delivered them a podium finish in USF2000. So the highlight for the day for Billy, finished second on the road, a penalty for contact for yourself as well, with contact there with Jagger Jones. You got the penalty to move you down to third. And I think, again, seeing what happened with Jonathan Brown, maybe softens the blow a little bit for you. You got a penalty, moved you down a spot. He gets a penalty for similar kind of contact.
Yeah, similar kind of contact, I guess. Like the only difference, two or three cars weren't taken out of the race, but in my case. But yeah, I'm glad that these penalties are being made, and as long as we are consistent throughout the season, I'm sure that this is going to be clean, fair racing. As a driver, you want to be pushing that boundary.
That's it.
As much as possible, and you've got a track like this, which potentially has got the most overtaking of the year. So I'm no doubt. Hopefully we don't have any more penalties, but hopefully we have some more overtakes.
Billy's going to be going for race wins for the rest of the weekend, folks. He is motivated for sure. Billy Fraser from Exclusive Autosport joining us, coming in as one of the championship contenders for sure now. We'll see how the points have shaken out, as first and second at points in USF2000 involved in a wreck together. Jagger Jones and yourself getting good points moving forward, so obviously it'll be a good opportunity for you. Here come the leaders down the front straightaway. Braden Eaves. He's one of the guys that you don't want to give a lead to. When he has the opportunity to run open track and in the lead, Braden Eaves is tough to beat. A former USF2000 champion. It wasn't only a couple of years ago, back in 2020, when a really horrific wreck over in turn number 10 saw him go upside down into a flip, injured his neck quite a bit. He was in the hospital, but was able to get back to the track before the end of the season, and it was great to see him be okay, and really kind of, I think, pushing us to a certain extent, right, to get that halo installed. It was always down the line, we can get the halo installed, but a pretty big wreck there, and again, we just saw what happened to Louis Foster, that halo for sure, protecting him from the gearbox, the attenuator of Jack William Miller.
Yeah, exactly, and after this race, we'll see the onboards, and hopefully we'll see the mark on the halo as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the racing, it hasn't slowed down. There's a few battle packs forming. You've got that 6th place spot, potentially a little bit of a gap forming from the top 5. Braden's quite a comfortable lead, so yeah, hopefully this just continues for the rest of the race, and we get some more overtakes.
Yeah, big move there was from Nolan Siegel. He was able to make a move to get by Salvador de Alba, but I think they're back fighting for more of it here right now. Braden Eaves out front, 1.5 seconds was the gap last time by. So you've got Eaves, Kaminsky, Siegel, de Alba, and Ahmed. And we'll see when they come back around here how things shake
Braden?
out.
Where's Braden?
Where is...
Oh, wow, he's fallen to P2.
What happened to Braden Eaves? I just mentioned how he's the guy that you're probably not going to want to let out front. Maybe a mistake for Braden Eaves. He's gone back to second. Colin Kaminsky goes back to the lead. Oh, the Kaminsky, I think, locks the brakes up going into the corner. He's gone off. Kaminsky's gone off. He's going to take the cut through. So Kaminsky overcooks it, leading, takes the cut through. He'll come back out in maybe third. No, he's going to end up P4.
It changes so quickly. First to fourth, Braden second to first, and now we're going to have this great pass down into turn 7.
Yeah, Anam Ahmed had to take the cutoff there. I think coming back through, that was probably a safe move for Anam. It could have been a little bit too nasty, and he'll pull back and give that spot back. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, an issue with Braden Eaves. He ends up losing the lead cut to Colin Kaminsky, who then overcooks it down into turn number 1, has to take the escape route. That's the pressure, is it not, Billy, that you want to win so badly? And I've talked to a lot of drivers about how they're really trying to maximize the braking down into turn number 1.
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's a passing opportunity. You're not necessarily going to be maximizing your exit, but you need to maintain your position. And yeah, Braden back to the lead. I think we're going to see this now for the fight for P2. Nolan's right on the gearbox of the other J. Howard car, and yeah, it's going to be action for sure.
In turn 1, can you give up a little of the exit? Is it more about a passing opportunity? Can you give up a little more if you're trying to go that deep on the brakes?
It really depends. It really depends. You've got to be committed, and you can't make a mistake. At the end of the day, you want to be controlling where the other car places is placed. So.
Yeah, so there's the replay there on the big boards, folks. You can see that Kaminsky drove in there deep, locked up the right front, and he You can talk about this, Billy Fraser, kind of committing, like you're kind of starting to turn in. I hope I'm going to be able to make it, but sooner or later you got to realize you're going to the grass. Better to take the escape route.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the benefit Colin had is he committed quite early, so only losing a few spots from doing that. And you know, this race has already changed so many times. No doubt he's still in the fight.
We're only at the halfway point, 13 of 25 laps, really. We're working lap number 13 right now, 12 in the books. Still a long way to go. Time-wise, yeah, we've still got time in the session here, too. So, again, that's the key to the program is we have longer windows to get our laps in the books to make sure we can get as many green flag laps in as we can, because this is all about driver development. It's all about dialing these drivers in. And Eaves, with that one chink in the armor where he fell back behind Colin Kaminsky, has now pulled back out to a pretty sizable lead. But what a drive here for Salvador De
Yeah,
Alba.
exactly. I was about to say,
right?
From 12th.
Yeah, he started back in the 12th position. The J. Howard driver development cars, you remember, these cars, the setup are the setups that brought Christian Rasmussen the championship last year to move on to Indy Lights with the scholarship. So we know that J. Howard and his crew can dial in an Indy Pro 2000 car. And Eaves running P1. And I think that's the cool thing about De Alba. He's getting challenged aggressively here by Siegel. Siegel's going to go around the outside. How about side by side through turn number 2? And De Alba still holding the spot. There's De Alba in second. Siegel in third. Little lockup going into turn number 4. He's pushing hard.
Oh, it's going to be great racing into here side by side with the Hunkers and another cut through.
That's the second time Anam Ahmed has done that from the inside. I guarantee Race Control will look at it this time. The first time he almost got together with Kaminsky as he came back onto the cut through. This was more of a I'm just not going to give it up. So
yeah, and he's got the position from it. Oh, Colin.
That was Colin going deep, yeah. Colin Kaminsky trying to make a deep move on the inside there. Had to go to the inside of the curb as well. Let's ask you this, Billy Fraser. If that happens, what does Race Control tell you to do? If you can't make the corner and you have to miss the apex, go to the inside of it. What is the call afterwards? Do you need to give the spot back?
Yes, definitely. You can't pass a car from off track, and I guess the tough position now for Anam is, you know, Nolan's dropped back a few more. It's one of those things you want to be proactive with as a driver. You want to give the spot back on track before they, you know, like we saw with Jonathan, those black flags come out and they kill your race. So hopefully he gives that spot back, you know, be proactive with it. But yeah, it's brought De Alba back into P2.
This is exciting right now. Braden Eaves out to a 3.8 second advantage. If he does not make another mistake, he's going to grab his first win of the year. But we are talking 2 wide, 2 by 2 further back as Kiko Porto's up in there. Anam Ahmed, Nolan Siegel. And there's another side-by-side shot coming out of turn number 2. This is great racing. I believe that's Porto on the inside, Siegel on the outside. Those are the teammates at D-Force Racing.
Yeah, and championship leader as well.
That's true. Yeah, Nolan Siegel, the championship leader, coming in. Braden Eaves, though, with a victory here, would definitely tighten things up. 30 points for a race win. 1 point for leading the most laps. 1 point for pole. 1 point for the fastest race.
Oh, no.
Well, and there's drivers together coming out of 7.
Teammates.
That is, you got to be kidding me. That is Siegel and I believe Porto together. It does not pay to have a teammate right now. Exclusive Autosport drivers out, Turn 3 Motorsport drivers in trouble, and D-Force drivers look like they may have just gotten together coming out of turn number 7. Billy, what does your team owner tell you to do?
Never make contact with your teammate. We've had 2 instances of it today. Yeah, they just went side by side, and you know, being on the outside there, it's tough. You know, at what point do you have to forfeit when you're on the outside? And in that case, you know, we've seen them come together. They kind of stuck together, and yeah, both of their races potentially ruined.
Let's have a look at the replay here right now when we get it, Billy. You have a look at it. I'll kind of walk myself through it, then you kind of give me your thought. Here's the fight a little bit further back right now. Oh, that is aggressive. That is De Alba not wanting to give it up on Ahmed. This is some hardcore racing. De Alba's looking to try to get a result here. He hasn't had much success. But here's the replay as they work their way down in here. It looks to me like they were just both coming out of the corner and trying to go for the apex, or rather the exit point. Kiko was coming across potentially a little bit, and I think maybe Siegel just holding on to the side of the track. But man, you got to give room to your team.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it was right rear to left front, and the car on the outside, I forgot which one it was. At what point do you give up or not go to the grass?
That was
you know,
Porto,
he didn't want to go to the grass, and they made contact, kind of stuck together. And in those cases, you know, these cars are like magnets. There's certain parts you don't want to touch together because, yeah, we just saw like that, you know, accidents are going to happen and crashes. So hopefully Nolan can get back out on the lead lap, like I said before, and carry on with his race. But
I don't really want to be in the D-Force engineering room afterwards, but I'd like to be a fly on the wall to maybe hear what's happening there. A learning experience for those drivers as well. Obviously, turn 7, a corner where you carry so much speed at the end of the straightaway. In the car, it's rolled to the right side of the racetrack to get back over for turn number 8, and both those drivers just trying to go for the exit, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And this race is going to continue. No passes in the turn 1 this time, I don't think. But yeah, like for Collins, he ran off at turn 1 and he's back into P4. He's still in the race.
We've got another replay for you here of that front lockup we talked about. That is De Alba on the inside, Anam Ahmed on the outside. Anam's looking for a potential over-under, or actually, no, he's going to try to roll the outside. They both lock the right front Cooper. So obviously, Ahmed's trying to go as deep as he possibly can. Salvador De Alba said, listen, I'll go as deep as you can. They both locked the right front up. But one thing is, if they've got guys coming up from behind them right now, Billy Fraser, you can talk about it a little bit. When you lock up that tire, it wants to keep locking up.
Exactly, and at some point you do have to turn. I guess we're lucky at turn 1 there is a little bit of runoff there. We saw Colin use the maximum runoff, but you can just use a little bit of it. I think both cars went off track, to be honest, and they managed to maintain their positions. So, the more racing we have, these cars kind of in that 5th, 6th, 7th spot are going to catch back up, and yeah, hopefully nothing more happens in terms of crashes, but it's definitely on the cards when we've seen the aggression so far.
And there's another lockup there for De Alba. I'll get deeper into De Alba here in a couple of seconds. This has allowed Sundar Amurthy, Yuvan Sundar Amurthy, the Wisconsin Badger winner in 2 of the races in USF 2000 as part of the triple header here last year. He's got that Pabst racing machine rolling. I think Sundar Amurthy may be getting ready to challenge Ahmed if these guys continue to lock that right front up. There's De Alba working his way down into turn number 1. Anam Ahmed is close, and not that far back is Yuvan Sundar Amurthy. In fact, he's almost on the gearbox of Anam Ahmed right now. Talking about Salvador De Alba, a really interesting story. Here's a young driver who has done a ton of racing in Mexico, but he runs in the Mexican NASCAR program.
Oh,
a
wow.
full-size NASCAR, runs for Michel Jourdain, the Jourdain Andretti Autosport team in the Mexican NASCAR program. Came up here last year, wanted to try to go to Indy Lights, tested with Andretti Autosport last year at Mid-Ohio. They weren't able to put a program together, but maybe the thought was, hey, listen, we're going to go Indy Pro 2000 racing. Let's dive in one step lower, give you some seat time with Jay Howard Driver Development. This is the best we've seen for Salvador throughout the season, Billy, and you can talk about this last year as a rookie. You came here for the first time, driving these cars, these tracks. All season you got better and better. For Salvador, this is such a transition from that big, heavy 3,500-pound stock car that takes a long time to break into an Indy Pro, which is so agile, so nimble, with hard braking. Every time we see him go out, he's getting more and more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly, and he's going to be learning so much from this situation as well. Hopefully those right front lockups haven't cost him too much time. The thing about locking up these tyres is it tends to find the same spot again, but yeah, props to him. He's doing a fantastic job so far. Teammate in front, Jay Howard 1-2.
Yeah, Jay Howard Driver Development, P1, P2. Anam Ahmed, though, hungry for a podium, hungry for a race win, as is Yuvan Sundar Amurthy. Here's a kid that had a breakout program last year, his 3rd year in USF 2000, and was really one of the stars of the season, winning multiple races throughout the 2021 campaign. The, of course, calculated move up to Indy Pro this year, stayed with his teammate Pabst Racing, or his team Pabst Racing, and is looking for a big result. He has not had the best start of the season. We talked to him earlier and wanted a bit more. You can see the fight further back. It's Ahmed now starting to get defensive. A little lock up there for Sundar Amurthy, and that's Kaminsky back up to P5. Through all this commotion, everything that's happened, Colin Kaminsky back to P5 with a chance to fight for a podium.
Yeah, exactly, and the thing about this sector is you kind of bunch up again and you've got 2 more straights coming up, so these guys will be trying to position their cars to get that maximum exit out of the last corner, and yeah, they're just they're still in line, I think, but hopefully there's definitely going to be some action going into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure how much time we've got left. We still have quite a bit of time. I think 9.5 minutes still remaining. We were very likely able to get through this entire race. We'll see how it all plays out now as we have about 6 laps remaining. Eaves across the line in that number 4 machine. Driver to New Albany, Ohio, USF 2000 champion just a couple years ago. Did a couple years in Indy Pro 2000 with exclusive Autosport, that wreck back in 2020 in the COVID calendar year. We were here during Labor Day weekend. It was a nasty wreck for Braden Eaves, but to his credit, coming back last year and scoring race wins and battling it out for the championship there as well, helping Exclusive Autosport win the team championship in the Indy Pro 2000 category last year. So the fight's still on. This is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. You go back to Gold, Missig, and Kiko Porto as well. How about Lindsey Brewer running in the 9th spot right now in the number 93? Her lap time, last time by 0.2 of a second off of Braden Eaves.
How awesome is that?
Is that big for Lindsey Brewer? There was a lot of talk her coming in. Didn't have a lot of experience in terms of open wheel racing. Did some Skip Barber racing and some sports car racing. She's turning impressive lap times right now. Again, down to a 124.1. And that is solid. It's quicker than Ahmed, quicker than De Alba. Again, excellent job here for Lindsey Brewer, currently running in that 9th position. She'll have Jonathan Brown trying to reel her in, though, from further back, so trying to get a top 10 for Brewer. But again, watching this battle up front still, as we said, Eaves out front by 5.5, but Billy, it's kind of stretching out. What happened there for Ahmed?
It was a fantastic move by Juven to the inside at the second to last braking zone, and I think both Pabst cars getting past the Juncos car.
Yeah, indeed, and you get caught on the outside of turn 13, dive up through the inside, you lose so much gap. Both drivers getting by, so Sunder Murthy up into second. That's put Kaminsky into third, I believe. No, that's third and fourth. Ahmed goes back to fifth. De Alba holding on to that second spot. But how big would this be for you and Sunder Murthy as well? You know it. You went through it. You had some good runs last year. But to be able to get a podium, finally, in Indy Pro's big.
Exactly, massive. He'll be stoked at the moment, but this race isn't over. It's the race of teammates. You know, you've got the 2 J. Howard cars and the 2 Pabst cars and the 2 Juncos. So, yeah, I wonder if they've learned anything kind of from the first half of this race with 5 to go.
So many different stories happening inside this race. Think about Reese Gold. We talked about him starting where he did up in 6th, then fell all the way back to the tail of the field. He was in the gravel after the first turn incident, and he has fought his way back all the way to 6th position as well. It's been an accordion for Gold, but right now salvaging what could be good points for the young driver to Miami, Florida. This is second, third, fourth. Reese Gold locks it up in 6th. He's got right behind him is, I believe, Ahmed. This is some tremendous racing outside of the lead, because Braden Eaves stinking the joint up here, 6.2 seconds up the road.
Yeah, wow. Doing a great job, and you know, when you're out in front, you've broken the draft, you can really focus on your own race. But at the moment, this battle pack, they're looking in the mirrors for sure. It's one of those things you just don't know when that car's going to make that move.
And it would be, I believe, our, I think, 4th different winner on the year as well with Braden Eaves. Nolan Siegel with a couple of wins, Reese Gold with a victory, Josh Green with a victory. So, yeah, it would be our 4th different winner in 5 races, Braden Eaves for J. Howard Driver Development. And right now, 1-2 for them with Eaves and De Alba. And we have Pabst Racing running 3rd and 4th with Sunder Murthy and Kaminsky, and Juncos Hollinger in 5th and 6th with Ahmed and Gold. And then Jordan Missig running in 7th, Kiko Porto 8th, Lindsey Brewer in 9th, and Jonathan Brown in 10th right now. 21 laps down, 4 to go in Indy Pro 2000. Billy, this race is throwing a lot at us.
Yeah, definitely. And there's 4 laps to go. There's still more to come. I see Lindsay's just gone faster than the leaders, which is fantastic. So, in the P9 spot, there's potential for her to come back and race for that podium. At the end of the day, they're still so close.
Well, I think for Lindsay, it's all about showing that she has the pace to be here, right? This is a young lady with a huge Instagram following, 1.7 million followers on Instagram. You see her at a lot of the events. She was down in Miami. Definitely an Instagram influencer. But I've been watching this young lady since she was running Superkarts USA shifter kart racing back late in the last decade. And she's got a passion for racing and wants to get into this road to Indy. And the lap time she's showing right now, proving that she's got what it takes here. We are watching the lap times roll down. 3 to go, however, and Eaves 6.4 seconds up. Colin Kaminsky trying to get himself back onto the podium. There's a big brake lock up there. That was Ahmed, I think. Yeah, I think that was Anam Ahmed in the 47 who deeped it into turn number 1. That allowed, I believe, Gold to get by. Here comes Jordan Missig now. That would be the fight for P6. Billy's
yeah,
like,
I'm lost for words. There's
now?
So much going on, I'm so used to being in these situations, watching in the grandstand, so it's been pretty cool to be in the commentary booth. But yeah, 3 laps to go, it's not over. Potentially that lockup has just split that top 3, so that race for second's kind of down to a 3-horse race. But these moves for the sort of back half of the top 10 are still going on.
And I think you said it. I don't think that we're done at all yet in terms of where the podium's going to play out, because Sundaramurthy is putting a lot of pressure on Salvador de Alba right now. That could be a big fight for second, and depending on where the move would come, that Kaminsky could be there to capitalize as well, right? If he's able to hold up de Alba enough over these last couple of laps, we may see Kaminsky making a move here as well. And look at Lindsey Brewer rolling up here behind Kiko Porto and I believe Jordan Missick. A great run for Lindsey Brewer.
Side by side to the final corner, so we'll see how that plays out going down the front straight.
Hold your breath is what it is. Is that a corner you can go side by side? Like, I got a feeling you're on the edge coming through there.
I don't want to find out, to be honest. But yeah, side by side down into turn 1. It'll be last of the late breakers. And yeah, like we've seen before, potentially that can bring Lindsay back into the fight.
Look at this right now. As we said, this is second and third. The battle for the 2 final positions on the podium. That is Salvador de Alba in the J. Howard Driver Development number 6 machine. Again, great run for de Alba in the Grupo Indy Meccano Sidra Aga machine. And then we've got, as we said, right behind him is Sundaramurthy in the Town Ford Race for RP machine. Sundaramurthy out of Delafield, Wisconsin, a student at the University of Wisconsin. He's a Badger, and he's trying to go right now to see if he can't go to P2. And here comes Kaminsky getting aggressive. And don't count out Reese Gold either. He's pushing.
Definitely. With 2 to go, those aggression levels will go up. These are kind of the spots now where how many more can you get with sort of 4 passing opportunities left, 4 standard ones. So, yeah, we'll see going with 2 to go. That top kind of 5 cars is spread out a little bit, but, we've seen mistakes before. Potentially can see them again.
I wonder what's going on with Kiko Porto. Might have burned the tires off a little bit. Lindsey Brewer quicker by about 3 or about 0.6 of a second. She's potentially closing on Kiko Porto for 8th position. We'll watch them come down. White flag flying for your leader, Braden Eaves, the Ohio driver trying to get a win once again here in Indy Pro 2000 competition. The fight coming down the straightaway. What's it going to be on the final circuit? De Alba has got Sundaramurthy right behind him. Reese Gold is going to come in the fight here as well. Reese is up on the wheel. That is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th on top of each other. All 4 of those drivers coming out of turn number 3 over to 4. That's the battle right there for the final 2 spots at the podium. Billy, this last lap has heated things up.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of the turn 7, your last passing opportunity. So Reese potentially has a little bit of a run, but I think unless anyone makes a mistake, I think they're potentially staying in those same positions. But we'll see what de Alba does. No need to defend, I don't think. Juven's gone slightly defensive. So, yeah, I think these positions are kind of set unless anyone makes a mistake.
That's it. And we talked about 7 being the last real opportunity. And Billy said before, you don't really think about championship that early. But there is always an opportunity to potentially go for another position to get up onto the podium. Podium's always key. These drivers want to get up on the podium, part of the celebration. They're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But we'll take the attention away from them right now because this is redemption for a driver who had a huge wreck here back in 2020. He's going to go to the top of the box here for J. Howard Driver Development out of the final circuit, and he's a winner here in 2022. Braden Eaves winning for J. Howard in Indy Pro 2000. And here's the battle to the line, not quite enough. What a drive for Salvador de Alba, a 1-2 for J. Howard Driver Development. Eaves wins, de Alba 2nd. Sundaramurthy in 3rd, Colin Kaminsky 4th, Reese Gold 5th, Anam Ahmed 6th, Kiko Porto 7th, Jordan Missick in 8th. And what do you think about Lindsey Brewer coming home in 9th position? Strong lap times, and for her, finishing 25 hard laps.
Yeah, and exactly. We've seen with, de Alba, that confidence after the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
This is a massive confidence boost for Lindsay, no doubt. And, yeah, awesome. Top 10 on the debut.
You can speak to this. Confidence and momentum is so key, right, Billy? Obviously, you came over here as a young kid, coming over from New Zealand by yourself, learning the track, learning the team, the car. As that confidence built, you come into this new season and you have so much more of that confidence. You get a couple of good results, and it feeds on itself.
Yeah, exactly. And these weekends, you're learning a new track every time, and it's how quickly can you find the limit. And that limit, you find it faster and faster as you get more and more race weekends. So for me coming in, I felt comfortable. And yeah, these drivers, it's mixed up. You got plenty of rookies at the front. You got Braden, one of the class of the field in this race. Got quite a bit of experience now on the road to Indy. So yeah, it's a great mix between kind of experience and rookie drivers.
Fourth different winner on the season, as I had said, but Braden Eaves getting himself back onto the top of the box in Indy Pro 2000 competition. Former USF2000 champion, and it's a big one here, as I said, for Braden Eaves. This one will be an emotional victory for the young driver out of Ohio. Salvador de Alba, maybe even bigger than the victory for Eaves, as de Alba becoming home into second. Even with the chaos early, big one for him to fuel the confidence he'll need moving into the middle part of the season. I guarantee you're going to see a ton of emotion out of Braden Eaves, a trademark scream when he gets out of the car. Sooner Murthy huge as well to third, Kaminsky fourth, and Gold fifth. But Braden Eaves, man, this is big for this young driver, moving from exclusive over to J. Howard Driver Development this year. There it is. I told you. Well done, Braden. Big victory to really shake things up. Eaves with the win. Fantastic for Braden. 5.5 seconds was the margin of victory. And there's Salvador de Alba, his teammate, a strong second. Kudos to the whole crew at J. Howard Driver Development, first and second. And again, Yuvan Sundaramurthy on the podium in third. Colin Kaminsky, great run to fourth spot. A lot of up and down for a bunch of these drivers. Kaminsky was up, and he was down off the racetrack. Same with Gold, back to 14th, back up to 5th. All in all, a tremendous race, and there are your unofficial results up on the big boards. Braden Eaves with the win, Salvador de Alba in second, Yuvan Sundaramurthy, that's your podium. Colin Kaminsky ends up fourth, Reese Gold fifth, Anam Ahmed in sixth spot. Seventh, Kiko Porto. Eighth, Jordan Missig. Ninth, Lindsey Brewer. 10th, Jonathan Brown. 11th, Wyatt Prokachik. And 12th, Josh Green. And again, the drivers had struggled at the end. Charles Finelli, Nolan Siegel with the contact between he and Porto. Could be some more results coming down. We're not quite done yet. Louis Foster and Jack William Miller, as we know, out in that opening incident. Well, Billy Fraser from Exclusive Autosport, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. Your first time in the booth, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, Rob. Just one last point. I don't think any of these top three drivers started in the top 5.
They did not. That was one of the big things, the chaos that we had, those drivers able to capitalize. We, of course, have the celebrations up here on the victory podium coming soon, but hang with us there. Yeah, there's a good shot. That's Billy Vincent right there as well. Braden actually races karts for Billy Vincent's MPG Motorsports and Will Power Kart program. So Billy Vincent, of course, Director of Competition with Aero. Folks, don't go anywhere. We are going to have victory celebrations coming soon.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduro Maxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
Go live now to the victory podium for a little party. Here's Rob Howden. Hey, Rob, what you got?
Dave, thank you so much. The Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Indianapolis supporting the IndyCar ministry. What a race that was. We saw so much action and some deserving drivers who are going to join me here on the victory podium. Finishing in third place today for Pabst Racing, Usf2000. And to present him with his third place trophy, the CEO of Anderson Promotion, Dan Anderson. And good to see Juven back up here. Another podium in Indianapolis. A bunch of wins last year in USF2000. His first podium here for 2022. Great job for Juven. Great to have this young Mexican driver here as part of the program this year. His first podium as well. Part of a 1-2 finish for Dre Howard Driver Development. Put your hands together for Salvador de Alba. And from Cooper Tires, the Director of Motorsports Marketing, Chris Pantani, will deliver him with his second place trophy. First podium result here for Salvador. And the storyline here, of course, today, the victory by this driver here who had that horrific accident back here in 2020. A great comeback here. He's back on the podium, folks, for Jay Howard, the winner in Indy Pro 2000, Braden Eaves. Braden, hop down here with me. You can give a little high five there first. Man, anytime you want to win Indianapolis, right, is obviously big. I saw Billy Vincent down there with you, Mike Shank down there with you, guys that have been behind you from the very beginning. You had the big wreck here back in 2020, but even to look at 2022, to get that first victory, crucial.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was so close to getting the win in race one last year when we were here, and late caution kind of cost me it. So this is one that I've really been looking to check off the box. Just so thankful to the team. The team gave me just an absolutely incredible car. You know, 1-2 finish here for the team is just so amazing. Just to support the event, the fans, everything's been great. Starting from 10th was really difficult. I can't believe, you know, just a carnage of a race, but, you know, to get the win is just super cool, and, you know, looking forward to hopefully a good result tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 more races tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 more, starting 10th, so it's going to be tough, but we've shown that we can do it, so let's try and do it again.
Well done. Up on top of the podium. Let's get that trophy in here, Dan. P1 for Braden Eaves. Like you said, started deep in the field. He worked his way up there. A tremendous run for him. He knows he can get it done, just needs a bit of chaos. But they had a great race car, like they said, and that allowed Braden Eaves to work his way forward. Jay Howard Driver Development, a 1-2 finish with Braden and Salvador de Alba in the first finish on the podium here this year for Juven Sundermurthy. This kid likes the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it likes him as well. But Braden Eaves, big finish, 4th different winner on the season. And this is such a competitive field in Indy Pro. We have so many drivers who have worked their way up through USF2000. They have experience here at this racetrack, experience with this race car. That's why the field is so tight in this particular category. And again, we're just building the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. This was the series where you saw Pato O'Ward just a couple of years ago. You saw Renus VK. You saw so many of the great young drivers in the NTT IndyCar Series right now, honing their craft here in Indy Pro. 2 more races on Saturday for both USF2000 and Indy Pro 2000, but we'll let them take the opportunity to celebrate here in the most famous victory lane in American motorsports, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Boys, enjoy it. Victory today for Braden Eaves, scoring the win here in race number 1 of what will be a triple header. All right, boys, go to work.
Look out, get out of the way. Here we go.
And the cool move by Rob to say that as he steps back behind the podium.
That was a veteran move by Rob there, wasn't it? Dove behind the podium.
Congratulations, everybody. Great job.